Revenue last year was $400 million.
$400 million.
Yes, with a valuation around $4 billion. I have 55% of the shares of Odoo.
It also says here that in 2009, you were called the new Bill Gates.
Yeah.
Are you comfortable sharing how much salary you have? What is India too?
It's not Brazil, it's not Russia, it's not China, it's India and India and India. The focus should be there.
Okay. Why have you shifted base all the way from Belgium and you're living in India?
But you know what? Most people who want to go work in the US, I think they do a mistake.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the One Person Club Show. On today's episode, we have Mr. Fabien, the founder and CEO of a unicorn company here with us today. It's a Belgian-based company valued at over 3.75 billion euros. So 20 years of being in business. Can you talk about how the numbers grew?
Revenue last year was $400 million.
$400 million.
Yes, with a valuation around $4 billion.
So at what age did you become a billionaire?
I don't know, maybe 35.
35.
No, 37 maybe.
35, 37.
Mm-hmm.
Because it also says here that in 2009, you were called the new Bill Gates.
Yeah.
How did that feel?
I think it's not fair for Bill Gates.
Okay.
I mean, the guy did so much that it's not even comparable.
Have you met him?
No, never.
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 Okay. Odoo is present in a lot of countries. You guys are present in around 160 countries, if I'm not wrong.
So with partners, in terms of companies, we have companies in San Francisco, Mexico, New York, Dubai, maybe something like 15 countries.
15 countries.
And we have partners in 160 countries.
You have recently moved to India and you're living in Gujarat. So can you talk us a little bit about that? Why have you shifted base all the way from Belgium and you're living in India? When did you
India was the first company I opened.
Really?
Yeah.
No, you opened your first thing in Belgium.
Belgium, and then the first subsidiary was in India. So Odoo is global. We have activities worldwide, and our Indian company used to deliver service for the other countries, development service for America, Europe, and so on. But we were not addressing the local market. But the local market with SMEs is booming. India is incredible. The GDP is growing 8% per year. So for us, it was a challenge. We wanted to start with our application, deliver something for the Indian companies.
Oh.
And the problem we have in Europe is that if you need to recruit 4 or 5 developers, it takes 6 months.
To recruit 4 or 5 developers?
Yes, you need 3, 4 months to find them. Then there is a 3 months time for them to leave their old job. So it could be sometimes even 9 months. So it's very slow. And I needed to move faster than that. In India, I could recruit like 10 developers in just less than a month.
And how is your life in Gujarat? That's where you're living, right?
I love it.
Because, a lot of Indians keep migrating outside of India. I mean, I think last year the number was almost 1 million people who left India to settle in other Western countries because the quality of life is better.
Yeah, but you know what? Most Indian people who want to go work in the US, I think they do a mistake. Not all of them, but in India, usually like IT developers, they have a very good salary. They can afford a lot of things in India.
Correct.
They have people clean their oars, cooks, whatever you want.
Yeah.
And then they move to the US. They have a bigger salary, but rent is super high. Education is super high. Housing is super high.
Yeah.
And they have to do 2 or 3 work just to pay the bills.
Right.
And most of them have a shitty life compared to what they get in India before. Sometimes the trade-off is not that good.
So everybody, the whole world is talking about India and its growth. Like, what do you think after India, what country in the world will be better?
So, we used to talk about BRIC. I don't know if we talk BRIC.
Yeah.
Brazil, Russia, India, and China.
Yeah.
Where people wanted to invest a few years ago. Everyone wanted BRIC.
Yeah.
Look at it today. Brazil killed by big inflation, just crazy. Russia is in war. The rubles decrease like crazy.
Right.
China is closed. Even if you succeed, the government will seize your company. It's going to be... So there is basically no way to succeed in China.
So Odoo is not in China?
We have tried. I spent 1 million to do a joint venture and it failed completely. So the only remaining one is India. And India is great. It speaks English. It grows fast. It's open market. It's a democracy. Everything is green in India.
And one of the hardest working people in the world.
Yes. There is India number 1. There is no second one. If I have to pick a second one, it's India 2.
What is India 2?
It's not Brazil. It's not Russia. It's not China. It's India and India and India. The focus should be there.
Okay. So Fabien, your company is worth 3.75 billion euros. So what exactly does your company do?
So I'll explain you the same way I explain to my kids.
Okay.
Imagine you are a mechanic,
Okay.
you're someone who fixes cars, and you're super good. You love your job. We can give you a shitty car, you will fix it in 2 hours or 3 hours because you love your job and you are efficient. Now, imagine the same mechanic and he doesn't have tools. No screwdriver, nothing to lift the cars. The guy could be passionate about his job. If he doesn't have the tool, he will be totally inefficient. Things he used to do in 2 hours will take 2 days. And this is exactly what happens in small and mid-sized companies. A lot of them are suffering because they don't have the right tools. You still have a lot of people who do things, record data manually, who don't have access to statistics. And this is what we do at Odoo. We do a suite of applications that you can use to run all your business, from CRM to accounting to inventory, build a website, launch your social marketing campaign. And all those applications fully integrate to each other.
And now I also have my own startup. There are 65 people. Now I have a separate software for HR. I have a separate software for marketing, separate software for communications, separate software for product management. But Odoo has somehow figured out how to put everything in one, right? So why is it so difficult to do that? Like, why aren't these other companies not doing everything in one place?
Yeah, you're right. That's exactly what we want to solve, is to make things simple, but cover everything you need. Why we did it, I think it's not easy first. Took us 20 years to do it.
Yeah.
And some tried. On the market, you have the big players who do a lot of things, like SAP and Microsoft, which are what we call ERP, but they are complex and expensive. In the other side, you have all the small players, but they only do one thing. What you don't have, very simple, do the job, but do everything you need in one platform. And this is what we do.
Okay. Can you talk a little bit about costing? Because you said those big software companies like, your Microsoft Dynamics or SAP, how much do they cost? And how much does these individual small players, the costing, how would that look like? And how does Odoo compare in terms of the competition?
So large ERP, they cost millions. Usually it's different, or millions, or it's very, very expensive. So only the large companies use them.
So like setting it up will cost millions.
Millions. Small and mid-sized, they don't use SAP and Oracle. It's too expensive.
This is what you meant by those example of the mechanic. Like they don't have the tools because it's so expensive.
It's not affordable enough for them. The small ones, it range from $10 to $50 per user and per month.
You're talking about the likes of, your Slack, your Asana, these kind of stuff.
Exactly.
Okay.
The pricing of Odoo is interesting. For one application, like you want your website or e-commerce, or you want to replace Slack or whatever, or your accounting software, it's free. But if you need all the applications, like you need the big ERP that does everything, that integrates everything for your company, so that like the Rolls Royce of the management, that's 580 rupees per month and per user.
Okay.
We have 12 millions of users. So even though the price is small, when you times 12 million, it's still big revenue.
Right now, I'm in a stage in my company where I have asked all my department heads to document data on Excel so that I get to see what's happening week on week with each department. How are the numbers moving? How are the the KPIs improving?
At some point, you will notice yourself that you will outgrow Excel. And
that's how businesses start, right? In India, like everybody starts with Excel. But tell me about the early days of your entrepreneurship. As soon as you graduated from college.
Yeah, I was alone, bootstrapped, no money. I started with nothing, 6,000 euro at the time.
Okay.
Which is barely 1 month of salary in Europe.
6,000 euros in Indian terms, that's like 6 lakh rupees in today's
6 lakh.
Yeah.
Yes. It's in Belgium at the time, it was 1 or 2 months of salary.
So where do you get that money from?
I think it's money I saved during years of doing small businesses.
Okay. So basically, since you started from 13, you were saving up money here and there, and that sort of accumulated to 6,000 euros.
Yes.
And the age of 23, you started.
Yes.
But you were alone, right? So what did you have to pay for?
6,000 is the minimum to create a company in Belgium. It's the initial fund you have to put.
Oh, you have to pay the government.
Yeah, you have to go to the notary and
to incorporate the company.
And you have to put some starting fund, and it was 6,000 euro.
Okay.
So I could do that with that. I had no salary for the first maybe 10 years.
10 years, no salary?
No salary.
But what about the people growth? How many people were there in year 1, year 2, year 3?
Year 1, I was alone. After 5 years, I think I had 4 employees or something.
After 5 years, 4 employees?
Yeah, 5 years full-time after the university. So first year, I was alone. Second year, I was alone. Third year, we were 2. And then 2, 4, 7, and then 15, and then times 2 every year. And then it started to grow. Now we are 4,000.
4,000 employees?
Today.
How many years has it been since you began?
20 years.
So I want to understand the journey and the challenges that a company goes through, how it has to evolve from 0 to 10, 10 to 100, 100 to 500. Like, walk me through that journey.
Okay. From 1 to 3 is as difficult as 100 to 1000. 100 to 1000 is actually easy. For me, it was more difficult from 1 to 10 than 100 to 1000. 0 to 10, you do everything yourself. Which is good because the founder is probably the best in selling his own product because he has passion, he knows everything, so it's good.
Yeah.
That's 0 to 10.
That's a good point here because a lot of people before starting business, they assume that I need to hire people for this. I don't know how to do this. But I think even when I started my business, when I had like 4 or 5 people, I was doing everything, right? And you cannot be hands off at that point of time. A good founder is somebody who can take up any department at any given point of time because he's so hands-on with everything.
Because he needs to improve and give guidance to the others.
Yeah. Especially in that 0 to 10 employees.
0 to 10.
Yeah.
And then when you start to grow up, you will need some more people. You have middle managers. The culture is not you anymore. It's the middle manager, the way they behave. So you have to invest more about teaching, educating, training your middle manager, your people.
This is from the 10 to 100 employee journey.
Yes, to 10 to 100, it's a lot of communication and training. So when you grow from 100 to 1000, things change. You are not as a CEO, for instance, you are not the chief executing officer, you become the chief explanatory officer. Okay. A lot of the job is aligning everyone to be sure that we all move forward in the same direction, that people can decide.
And can you tell me about the numbers? Like, how did which year you made the first revenue?
First year, because I was selling service. I was selling my time. So the beginning was easy. From year 1 to year 8, I was a service company, selling services to everyone, developing features on demand.
So, and the first 8 years, you were saying you were a services company where you were a group of people building features for other companies on demand.
Yes.
And at that point of time, 8 years, what kind of revenues were you guys generating?
At the time, we were 100 employees after 8 years and revenue 1.5 million euro. What's great in revenue is that 82% is recurring.
Now you've transitioned to a model where you've built this all-in-one comprehensive product, which other people can use it as on a licensing model.
Yes.
So how do you transition to that?
So it's very difficult because from one day to another, I said, I don't want to do service anymore. So I lost all my revenues. And I said, I will start to sell maintenance. Because it was risky, I did a fundraising and I raised 3 million euro in capital. So when you get 3 million euro, you feel like I'm rich, I can do whatever I want, recruit a lot of people, and you start going crazy to speed up the development.
Right.
And but the revenue doesn't grow as fast as you expect.
Yeah.
So I was recruiting like crazy, and 2 years after, I burned the 3 million euro, and we were still not really break even.
In 2 years, you blew off the 3 million euros.
Yes.
So that's a classic mistake where people say that hire slow and fire fast. But you hired fast because of the sudden funding. And that's a big problem in India as well. A lot of startups today get a lot of money.
There is a good balance. So you have to burn fast because you want to go fast.
Yeah.
But not too much so you get below zero.
Yeah.
And I think I did it right at the end. It has not been easy, but I just went 3, get to 0, and I stabilized at 0, which is the perfect thing. So
stabilize the 0 means you stop burning money.
You stop burning money.
You were making enough money to pay for the expenses.
But I had to make difficult decision at the time, which is fire a few people.
Okay. I think that is the most difficult thing for any founder is, will I be able to make next month's payroll?
Yeah.
Right. And that is sort of, because that is a non-negotiable, right? If a person is not getting their salary, it's sort of like, what do you do? Right. Right. But if you are not getting the revenue this month, you'll be like, okay, I'll figure it out. 2 months later, I'll build something. Yeah. Right. But payroll is something which is like a non-negotiable. So can you tell a little bit about your personal finances, right? You own nothing else. Everything is in Odoo.
Yes, I have 55% of the shares of Odoo. I have a salary, but over the past year, I used this salary to buy back shares of Odoo.
Are you comfortable sharing how much salary you have?
Yes, it's around 1,000 euro per day.
1,000 euro per day?
Yeah, it's a gross salary because I pay tax. So in net, I get 400 euro per day.
So 600 euros goes into tax?
Yes.
That's the Belgium tax?
That's the Belgium. Like you have 2/3 in tax.
Okay. I'm so glad I'm in India.
But then we have free education, free healthcare, there are some advantages.
Yeah, of course.
And I don't own things, like I live in the house of my wife. I don't have a house.
Okay.
My car is the company car. I don't have a car personally. So everything I do is just trying to buy the maximum of shares of Odoo.
So you're like all in.
Yes.
Like in the casino, I'm just all Odoo. But how do you feel in India? I mean, like everything should be significantly cheaper for you compared to your previous residences. So Are you able to like how is the lifestyle changed?
My life decreased a lot. So I'm living in a very small house and things. But I think it's good because the best way to be happy in life is to lower your expectations. When you have low expectation, you don't expect anything, it's easy to be happy. And so for me, in Belgium, I didn't have big cars and there was nothing. Okay. I don't even own a house. I live in the one of my wife.
I mean, as the founder of a unicorn company, you could afford to do all of those things if I'm not wrong. So
I could, but money is not important. What matters is what you do. What drives me is the impact we have in all the companies where we deploy Odoo to deliver good software, to develop good software.
Like most people, when they get money, they would like, go at least travel the world, do a little bit of vacations. I'm not able to understand why you don't want to vacation. Like how does
because
that?
I get bored. If I go to a beach, I get bored. What I love and what I do is to build things. And in vacation, for me, really, most of the time, my wife goes in vacation without me.
Okay,
she goes alone, and I stay working because I love it.
So do you have like a 5 a.m. wake up routine, like what most billionaires have? Like, what's your wake up routine?
No, I just I have no routine.
Okay.
My agenda, one thing I like is to have my agenda clear. I have no meeting during the day, so I choose what I do.
Oh, you don't have no meetings during the day?
Maximum one per day.
How is that possible? Teach me.
A lot of CEOs, they are victim of their agenda. A lot of people book meeting for them.
Correct.
I need this. I don't. And because I don't work with clients, I don't want with sales, I want to own my agenda, but I manage what I want to do. I don't have a secretary. So nobody is booking meeting for me. I just decide what I do.
And finally, where do you plan to settle down for the rest of your life?
Oh, I don't know. You know what you will do?
Who, me? Where I want to
I'm pretty sure you don't know.
I don't know.
It's impossible to answer.
But I've just started, so I don't know.
Yeah, I'm starting too.
You've been doing it for 20 years.
No. I have 0.1% of the market. The market is so big that my company is just 0.1% of the market.
Really?
So I'm only starting. I still have a lot of things to do like you.
My God. So, and it's already worth $4 billion.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Fabien, I think that brings us to the end of the show. I personally learned a lot of things about what are the difficult things that an entrepreneur goes through in your 20-year journey. It's been 2 years for me. You've been doing it for 20 years. Looks like a lot of hard days may or may not come, but if they come, I hope I will watch this video again and feel better about those hard days.
If they don't come, it's because you don't grow fast enough.
Okay.
You have to take more risks.
Got it. I can get it. Thank you so much. And thank you guys for watching till the end. And I'll see you in the next one.